We got John Sarian chiming in. What are the two top things that you're expecting to see in the Canes spring game? Curious to see if guys other than Harley Pope touch the ball. So that's his focus, to see who gets targeted and performs in the spring game at wide receiver. So what are you looking out for? What's going to be most important to you?
Cohesiveness on the offensive line. Can we move people with the influx of Jalen Rivers, four-star offensive tackle now turned guard for the Miami Hurricanes at the left side? At the right side, five-star offensive tackle turned right guard Navon Donaldson. These two are influx into the Miami Hurricanes offensive line. One is 6'6", 331 pounds right now. The other is 6'5", 360 pounds. We have not had that size in the interior since 2019, where we have someone that can move people out of the freaking way. Okay, we had 301-pound build, 301, so he probably was like 295. DJ Scaife, and then we had the youngster Jakai Clark, who was forced to have to come on and give us early reps as a freshman last year because we didn't have anybody else, and he earned this opportunity, of course, but we had no one else. So now we're going to be bringing in a younger player in Jalen Rivers, yes, but he's not so light in the behind. All right, and he has the length to be going up against these bigger defensive tackles that we're starting to face in the ACC Coastal, and that we're going to face in Alabama and Atlanta. All right, and Navon is a former freshman All-American, so I'm looking for that cohesive unity on the offensive line in the run game, in particular. Number one, number two, what I'm looking for in the team. All right, I want to see the influx of Coach Dave Feely, Coach Bellamy, and what they've been doing in the strength conditioning and nutrition side of things. I want to see how our players look. Do they go hard for a couple plays and then look like they're sucking air? Or can they go out there and give us a really good game and it looks like they're prepared, we're programmed, we're returning a whole bunch of defensive snaps and offensive snaps. Almost the whole team comes back. All right. Can this team be more of a program when they go out there, as opposed to just a football team? Can it be a well-oiled machine? Now, Coach Rhett Lashley, his offensive staff, has had a whole calendar year to be able to put their offense together. They did it over Zoom and 6 feet apart meetings for the first season. Now you're going to be able to build on that, plus bring on what 10? Because all you lose is Brevin and De'Aaron King due to injury. So 9 of the 11 starters are going to be back in the same offense with the same coaches speaking the same verbiage, which has not happened at Miami in a while. Okay, on the offensive side of the ball, the last person to give us 2 back-to-back seasons as an OC was, Mark Riggs, James Coley in 14-15. All right, so look, actually 13, 14, 15. So even though it happened to be a second QB that second go around, statistically we were way better team 15. We just didn't win the game. But that's what I'm looking for, Mark. This offensive line as a unit, strength and conditioning influx on the team as a whole, and are we a well-oiled machine building a program? Are they out there looking like they know what they're supposed to do? If there's a motion with the wide receiver, are our DBs going ballistic, or are they just communicating, giving each other the hand signal, and we're going to run a defense? Hey, if they motion over, it's still cover 3. It's still cover 3. All right, cool. I want you to make sure you're deep thirds corner. I'm coming out of the fast if I'm the strong safety. My weak side linebacker is doing the exact same thing. And my free safety, I want you to go back to be the hole player in the middle of the field, deep thirds. That's it. I don't care where they roll. And let's make sure we communicate that they are motioning, but let's not get out of whack here. And if we're in man, you better make it a beeline to get to the other side of the field because that's your guy. That's what I want to see.
You mentioned the name Mark Richt connected with the offense, and I don't want to dive too deeply in this, but it just flashed through my mind that what happens to a guy in a situation like that? I'm going to make a lot of guesses and conjecture here a little bit. So he ran the offense at Florida State. He was one of the best in the business at that point. I got to think when you're a successful offensive mind, and then you're a head coach, then you transition and become one of the better head coaches, and you're leading a top 5 to 10 program. And Georgia was not that prior to Mark Richt, so he did a great job at Georgia. That while most guys running offenses across the country are just offensive coordinators, and they're going to camps, they're going to seminars, they're constantly working their craft and getting better and staying up to date. If you're this head coach that's had a certain level of success, high level of success, and you're comfortable with what you do, and you're spending most of your time being a face, having to meet with administrators and media constantly and do other things.
He did a great job with that.
And not working your craft, then that's probably what happens. You don't stay updated.
I love the person, Mark Richt. I think he would have been probably a really nice chief of staff, somebody that could be hands off and just meet with donors and shake hands and kiss babies and talk about the Lord and his grandkids. I think he would have done an amazing job as a chief of staff at Miami. I tell you what, Mark, I was hesitant to say when he won that natty up in Tallahassee, should have came to be the Miami Hurricanes OC. We should have tried to pull him down here to have him be the coach in waiting. I know the timing would have been bad because Coach Davis was still our head coach, 99, 2000. He left after 2000, and Mark Richt's first season at Georgia was 2000. So the timing would have been right. No, because he played the 2000 season, and then he left in 2001 after the bowl game versus Florida, which would have been the February time of 2001. Okay, so it would have been 1 year off. But either way, I think if he would have built what he built at Georgia, at Miami, things would have been so different in this program. But who knows? Who knows if he would have even been the coach that he was, because you got the money, you have the influx, you got the buy-in. And he had some really good players that he came into there. Because I think year 2, they were already rolling at 10 wins or so, right? So it was a really nice team.
13-1 his second year, 02.
Exactly. And he's a coach I would love to sit and drink coffee with one day and shake hands and get to know him as a person. I think you saw what he could have been here in 16, 17. But late 17, 18, he started to realize the game had kind of passed him by. And I don't know if he was willing to deal with because at Georgia, they love you to a certain extent. You come on and they still see you down there. Oh, that's Coach Richt down there at church. We love you. We're Bible Belt State. We still love you. You come down to Coral Gables, that stuff ain't gonna help settle this fiery fan base if things are not done right in our program. So I love Mark Richt. I just wish things would have been so much better for him. I think that's when I got into YouTube. 2018. Going after the 2017 season is when I started. So he was a coach that I started with, and it didn't go too well. This
is what I don't get, because if you're a top offensive or defensive mind, I'll take Bo Pelini for example. He ran top level defenses at LSU. Maybe the game, I'm not going to judge him completely, but his last stint here at LSU was not pretty. He just got fired. And the game is much different in 2020 than it was in 2005, 6, 7, 8, especially in the SEC. So maybe the game has passed him by, but that's his calling card. Richt, was an offensive coordinator, but that was a long time ago that he was developing offenses and on top of his game there. You would think that he's great as a CEO type head coach. You would think if he realized that, then you go get a great offensive line and you keep doing what you do best and you could keep that thing going, because like you say, in 16, 17, it looked like it was headed up.
We started to be on everybody's, late 2019 playoff board. Like Miami is building. We went from 9 to 10. Now you start pushing 11, 12. Like if he was able to replicate what he did at Georgia, that steady climb, we could beat a dead horse with that one, man.
Yeah,
I think the cat was out of the bag. Wisconsin, Pitt took our heart, but Wisconsin took our soul. That was not too many teams get an opportunity to play a big time bowl game at home. That was a home game for Miami. Yes, they were forced to have split tickets to the Orange Bowl. But nah, baby, you in Dade County. You are playing in our stadium. To the point where we pulled out the black uniforms, not orange, not green. We pulled out the black. It was so home for the Canes, man. But I just wish, because listening to Brett Kaya and Malik Rozier, he just kept talking about how he had a stranglehold on the offense. He didn't want to hear anybody else's opinions. The only person he ever trusted was Mike Bobo to run his offense. It didn't go together well. If he would have had a guy like Rhett Lashley, I don't know. But I don't know if a coach like Rhett Lashley would have even wanted to coach under Coach Mark Richt. Because that's another thing. People always wonder, why don't this big time OC go get another former OC go get another OC? This big time DC go get another DC. Because guess what? You're dealing with their baby. All right. So when they walk into that room and they don't hear the right verbiage, they don't like the play calling that they're seeing. It's not aggressive. It's not old school enough. It's not running that dang ball enough. It's like, dog, let me do my job. You hired me to do a job. If not, you can call it yourself. So that's also why I think nothing really happened. It's just people didn't want to coach under Coach Rick offensively.